Hello, my name is Franklin Joyce, and I'm continuing my presentation on my elements, and my next element is lead. So, sort of like with germanium, I want to talk about what is lead and what are some of the key components that make up lead. We'll talk about the physical properties, its reactivity, its abundance, some special properties in use, and the history of lead. So some physical properties of lead, when it's first cut, it has this kind of silvery looking color and with a little hint of blue. But as it is exposed to oxygen, it gains like a dull, kind of tarnished color, like a dull gray. And it has atomic number 82. Its abbreviation is PB. Atomic weight is 207.2 grams. Melting point of 600.6 Kelvin. And a boiling point of 2022 Kelvin. It has a density of 11.34 grams a milliliter or grams a centimeter cube. And its electron configuration is Xe, 4F14, 5D10, 6S2, 6P2. As far as its reactivity, it's an extremely stable element. Besides reacting with oxygen soon after it's cut, which kind of gives it that dull, tarnished sort of color, it really does not react with anything else. And in fact, it is so stable, many elements finish their degeneration into actual lead. Because of its high density, lead is a very effective disruptor of radiation particles, and so that may be one of the only extremely interesting characteristics of lead as far as an element that reacts with other particles and with other elements, is that it will actually block many radiation particles, as you can see in this video. As far as its abundance, it's the 38th most abundant element in the Earth's crust, with about 14 parts per million, and it's produced by China, Australia, United States, Peru, Russia, Mexico, and India. And it's an interesting fact that much of the lead we produce today is not actually mined from the Earth, but it's recycled from other previously used lead. And so a lot of our lead that we produce is actually recycled lead. Some sort of its special properties. It's an extremely dense and abundant metal, so it's very useful as not only to block radiation, but also for, it's a very heavy metal and you don't have to have a lot of it because of its density. It has a very low melting point, so it can actually be melted over a wood fire, and interesting, it has the lowest boiling point in the carbon family. And it's very, very useful. Because of its low melting point, it's very easy to melt it down and then cast it into a different shape, a different configuration, or different uses. It's a malleable metal, meaning that it's very easily formed into different objects. You can actually bend it with your hands, and so it's really easy to mold that into different kinds of objects. Once you get it to temperatures lower than 7.19 Kelvin, it actually becomes a superconductor. And its uses include plumbing, batteries, bullets and shot, weights, solders, pewters, fusible alloys, white paints, leaded gasoline, and radiation shielding. Alright, so its history. Unlike germanium, lead has been discovered for many, many years. We have archaeological evidence that it was discovered as early as between 7 and 6500 BC. And many of the great ancient civilizations had uses for lead. The ancient Egyptians used it as cosmetics. The Chinese used it as a stimulant, as currency, and as contraceptives. The Romans were the first to really mine lead extensively, and at their peak, they were producing close to 80,000 tons of lead a year. The Romans, one of their biggest uses for lead is for water pipes, which some historians have actually hypothesized that because of all of the lead in the Roman water, that led to the collapse of Rome. Because so many people were getting sick from lead poisoning. But they also used it for jars, in pharmaceutics, for roofing, currency, and in the making of military weapons. The Europeans, between 1000 and 1700, lead was used in alchemy. It was believed to be a base metal that once you could refine it and perform certain ritual or chemical reactions to lead, you could actually turn it into gold. It was used in stained glass, roofing, pipe. It was actually used to poison wine. There was still, all the way into the 1800s, there was mass poisonings of lead being placed into wine. The printing press, many of the early printing presses were made of lead, which actually led to the deaths of many of the early workers on the printing press because they were inhaling lead dust, and it was used for bullets and cosmetics. In the Industrial Revolution around 1750 is actually the first time that global lead production exceeded what the Romans had produced, as we started entering this mechanical age where lead was much more important. Around the 1890s many medical doctors began to experiment with lead, and they discovered that there was a lot of harmful side effects that lead produces. Basically what happens is once lead enters your body and bloodstream, it disrupts your enzymes as they're connecting, and so obviously that's not good, and it can, over exposure over a long period of time, basically will lead to death. In the modern age, we've used it for paint, which is not very common now, especially in indoors enclosed areas because of the danger of lead, but we still use it for outside coatings of buildings. Bullets, radiation shielding, and a big use today is lead acid batteries. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about some of these special properties of lead and what characteristics of lead as an element. Thank you.